Hello and welcome back to the Film Posters YouTube channel. My name is Josie and I am accompanied by my co-host Gabriela, and today we are going to be reviewing a long-awaited premiere, and that is A Carry You With Me, known for its Spanish title Te Llevo Conmigo. It is directed by Heidi Ewing and it follows an epic love story spanning decades that is sparked by a chance encounter between two men in provincial Mexico. Based on a true story, ambition and societal pressure propel an aspiring chef to leave his soulmate and make the treacherous journey to New York, where life will never be the same. So the film follows the life of Ivan and Geraldo, played by Armando Spitia and Christian Vasquez, and there is a combination of Armando and Christian playing Ivan and Geraldo in the film throughout the past, the scenes that take place in the past. And then we do see the actual Ivan and Geraldo in the film as the older versions of them, which is actually the present version of them. And Heidi Ewing, I actually had the opportunity to speak with her, and the way that she um, put it was that she didn't think anyone else could do them justice. So we have Armando and Christian playing the younger roles, and then of course we did have them in person because it is a story that she found so much value and she actually knew them before she decided to make this film. And you can tell that there is a lot of love in this film. There is a lot of care when it comes to the story. And especially when we were watching it, we had the first time we were able to see it was at the SCAD Savannah Film Festival last year. And unfortunately, the film is already coming out. It will be releasing in select theaters this Friday, the 25th of June. And yeah, let's just get into it. Your first reactions, and then we can talk a little bit about how we felt watching this movie.
So my first reaction is that I loved the directing of this film. It feels very personal. It feels, it feels kind of like this dream state, especially when we see, the beginnings of their relationship. And then when we see them in the present, the directing feels, like a portrait of real life. It feels kind of like a documentary in a way. So I really like how it went from, the dream, like the dreamlike state, because that's how it feels when you're at the start of a new relationship. When you meet someone, it's kind of like, this haze of love and happiness. So I love how the directing reflected that at the beginning of the relationship, and then it turns realistic, because it's not always like that. There are challenges that people face. So I really like how we saw that contrast with the directing. And I really loved the performances of the two actors who played the younger versions. They were absolutely fantastic. They had great chemistry. They worked so well together. It was just truly beautiful film. However, the one thing I was not the biggest fan of was the pacing and the abrupt change in tone. Because at the beginning we're with their younger versions, and it's kind of like a slow burn, but then they get together, and the whole thing about wanting to go to the United States starts, and that's where the film picks up. And then suddenly it just cuts to the present, and there's really not that much of a transition. It's just very abrupt, and that kind of took me out of the film for a bit. It took me a while to get back into it, but overall I thought it was a really beautiful film, a very important story. And I do think that a lot of people are going to like it, because not a lot of people might be able to relate to a story like this. And I think it's beautiful and a very important story to be told.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with everything you're saying because we discussed this when it first happened. Because, again, pacing connoisseur, and it was the pacing that kind of made it hard for me to fully engage with the film. But I absolutely did love the story,
Mm.
and it is the strongest part of it. And I really did like the directing, mostly because, as you were mentioning, it did feel kind of like like a narrative documentary.
Mm.
And it's mostly because Heidi Ewing's style, she is a documentary filmmaker, which I learned prepping for the interview. And it was very interesting to see how this was her first narrative feature and how she mixed both of them and turned them into like a really nice unique form of storytelling that, while we have seen narrative documentaries before, it it melded together so well. but I will say that the pacing and the transitions could have been a little bit better. Either way, it is a very beautiful story, and it was just really nice to see how the actors played off of each other, and
Mhm.
also the different how they handled those different scenes in the past that Iban and Geraldo shared, because it was a difficult film to get through in terms of what it dealt with. But
Yeah.
I think it was handled with so much care that it makes it um very approachable.
It's also how
But yeah.
we saw this film at our first festival at Scat Savannah.
Yeah, we were very excited to see this in the lineup because a lot of people were hyping this film up when it was supposed to come out last year and the beginning of this year. So it's finally coming out. So a lot of people have been hyping it up for a very long time, and this has been a very highly anticipated film. And we really encourage you to watch it and give it a chance because, again, when we saw it in the lineup, just felt very exciting to see a film with a Spanish title being presented in an American film festival. And considering that it was our first film festival and we are Puerto Rican film critics, it just felt very reassuring and se me fue la palabra, very validating. It felt very validating to see that be presented and for us to be able to watch it. And it was just a delightful experience. Again, these were our thoughts. Make sure to watch it and form your own opinion. And yeah, that's all for this review. You can find Film Posers at Film Posers on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. You can stream the Film Posers podcast wherever you listen to your podcasts. And again, remember, we're all film posers. Bye.
Bye.